Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to follow us wherever you listen so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. If you love what we do and want an easy way to show your support, please consider leaving us a positive that's all the stars rating on your favorite listening platform. It helps SBN and fanfic lovers find us and share in the fun. I'm Sandra.
I'm Kasey, and can I just say, I can always tell when I've been being a twat right before Sandra starts to record, because I can hear the smile in her voice. I can hear the smile in your voice, because literally before she clicked to start recording, I started singing. All right, you can put that out. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's fine. We could do the thing, because it's just been one of those days where we've had 15 things to do, and we're actually, okay, I'm knocking on wood. Because we're actually kind of on time with regardless of stuff that's been thrown at us. We've been doing good. So
yeah,
who knows?
We thought we had 2 things to do today. And then last night we got a lot more than 2 things to do.
So we're here and we're doing it, and it's exciting. It's exciting things.
It's exciting. And you know what the best part about this is? We're going fucking rogue today. We got shit to talk about, and we ain't got no document. We ain't got no nothing. Absolutely fuck all. So welcome to today's episode. Today we are binging and bangoing again. I love that. It really makes me laugh. Sandra has been doing some bingo stuff and some challenges and quests and all that good stuff. And I signed up for another big bang. That's not important. We don't have to talk about that. That's not important. Shut up. You don't even know.
I mean, the last time we talked about our fix, right? That was for the Winchester Big Bang. And I think we all took a turn. It was me. It was you. It was a Dreamer. I was sort of like, I'd finished up one thing. So I think I was in the middle of like when I'd sent in my update for the bings and the bangoing stuff that I was doing, I think beginning of last year, maybe? I can't even remember now. I think I had just been working on stuff for the JarPad Bingo.
Yeah, no, because I opened my big fat stupid mouth and I was like, oh, I'll join the next one. And then like... Yeah, no, if sign-up's open again, I'll join it. Then sign-up's open again, and I was like, well, fuck.
I think it was around, it must have been around
it was January because No, it was January because the sign-ups opened in February.
Okay. So then that started us on this.
Yeah, and then the Winchester Big Bang thing happened in like March time, and I hauled you guys along for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured I'd do an update because there was a couple of things that I'd started working on, I guess, beginning of last year, that then I started to find, actually it was the one big thing that I could use for Jackals vs. Bingo. But like for Jackals vs. Bingo, and this is not the current one, this is back, I think, 2023. I think now they're in the second iteration with Kim.
Is it not 24 though?
I think it's 24, but I think when I did it, it was 2023 and it went into 2024. Oh, yeah, because you signed up.
Yeah.
So mine was the 2023 one. They're currently doing 2024. I did not sign up for that one because I was like, no, I don't think I can do this again. I did a bunch of different stories for that, which was like Bo Arlen. I did a little like mini series for that. I did a bunch of stuff for Dean. And then I did Priestley from 10-Inch Hero. So those were like my main versions of Jackal's characters that I worked on. There were other ideas, but I just didn't get around to it. And I think I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Out of the 25 square bingo card, which I was insane, I think I did 12. I got 12 stories out of it. So some were long, some were not. And
I got a 9 square bingo card and I did 2.
So we're learning, right? We're experiencing different things. I think if I was ever to do a bingo again, because again, like I'm of the mindset, never say never, just not right now. I don't think I'll do a big one again. I would probably just do a 3x3. I think that would just be better for me to feel like I could get stuff done. But there was a particular square that I never got around to filling during the time of the Jackals vs. Bingo, that when I showed my card to Kasey, their initial reaction was, if you don't use this for the story you're working on, I think they were going to pan me in the face.
I might have punched in the face. Contrary to all evidence, that you've seen. I'm not actually that violent. I'm verbally violent, not physically violent. What was that prompt again? Remind me.
Are you going to want this back, or can I keep it?
Yes.
The dialogue.
That was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this.
So what were we working on at the time, Sandra?
Well, it was the thing that I thought was going to be a one shot or a very short story, and it was called Wash, Rinse, and Repeat, and it started out as a Dean / reader, and maybe a couple chapters in, I was like, no, this feels like an OFC to me. So then I just kind of like went along during the process and kind of like gave the character a name, because the character was getting a little bit more of like a backstory in my mind. And it just became this thing. And you and I, how did it, as I'm trying to think now, what did I want to do with Dean? I wanted to put Dean, I just wanted Dean in a pair of pink panties, right?
That was it. That was it. That was the whole fucking thing, right? I know I've been teasing this for a long time, but she finally finished it.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the whole thing. She's like, I just want Dean to wear pink panties. And I was like, fucking sweet, let's go. And then she kept pulling out plot and more plot. And then you look behind the plot, surprise, there's more plot there. And I was like, how is this happening? Where are you finding all of this? And she was like, I don't know. Well, like, honestly, I think she might have been like more distressed than I was by this, because I was like, where are you finding this plot? And she was like, I don't know, man. It just keeps fucking happening. But to be fair to Sandra, you were trying and you did an excellent job of tying it into canon. And you ended up with quite a long time period to span of canon.
Yeah. Because
to weave through.
Yeah, I think initially the initial idea of the story was it was basically going to be like Dean and the reader kind of like meet up on a case during season 1. And then I was going to have something happen that then pans out years later, where they see each other again with the panties situation. So, I mean, if you can't tell by Wash, Rinse, Repeat, there's a lot of laundry situation. Like, at least in the beginning, it was a whole laundry thing. Like, that was like a thing. And then I started seeing themes. I was using water a lot. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Why am I doing this? Like, what is going on? So
the story very much wrote Sandra by the end.
Yeah.
That was very much what was happening.
Well, you know what I think too, like when I was, because we've talked a lot about what Dandelion Dreaming did with the Rookie, where she had put Reader sort of like, you could imagine Reader being along for parts of the story, especially it's a season 9 heavy, and then like it goes into a couple different seasons too, but the main just is like season 9 into season 10, I think, with the whole Demon Dean arc and all that stuff. And then she made a point of putting her character sort of like in the scenes in the story, but some of the storylines would get tweaked a little bit because Reader was in scenes that you'd seen. And I've seen a lot of people do this with canon, like they insert the character, right? It's character insert. Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to do was, and I did not think about this right away, but once I started to plot, I really wanted to have the character be a part of their lives in and out, but never actually in stuff you'd seen, but sort of like be a part of the after, or the, after scenes, or filling in a couple of gaps here and there. And I kind of like worked myself into a corner because I wrote this character having sort of like this, she had Bobby as sort of like her surrogate father because of things that had happened with the family and the ostracization and all that stuff. And so in a lot of the ways, it's sort of like Bobby is sort of like everybody's parent, everybody's hunter parent in a way. Like he was very, very much a part of the reader's life. But then I was like, well, how does that work if she's never actually met the boys? And so I had to like, build all of this backstory in to make it make sense as to why she wouldn't have met them until, say, season 1. And as time went on and I kept adding plot, I realized I was going to have to deal with certain things in the story because of Bobby. Bobby was very important to her, and then losing Bobby and then how that affects the boys and different things. So there's little things that I kept thinking, I should at least like try to talk about this in some way, maybe not like, emotional stuff, but it was very much like all these different things that happened to the boys and how she's kind of just on the outside, and then there's time when she's not in their lives, and then she gets sucked back in, and her whole like hunter journey too. And, she has powers similar to Sam's. She's got these psychic abilities, but a little different in terms of like the way she can connect, like an empath kind of a situation too. And so different things like that. And I started to see these, like I said, these themes of like, rebirth and different things like that, because that's kind of a part of the show anyway. They keep getting reincarnated or brought back, and, they get a chance to do it again or try it again. And it's this constant thing of like Dean and the reader, and then OFC, keep coming together, but never quite the way that you're expecting it. And then I finally got towards the end of and Kasey, God love him, I know I blue ball the hell out of them with a lot of my stories, and I never quite I have thoughts in my head, but they don't always pan out when it comes to,
always
the
sometimes.
sexual
I'm used to it now.
Stuff. Yeah, but
I'm used to it.
But so I knew the way the story was going. As much as I thought as a one shot, it could have been a certain way. It didn't feel like I was going to be able to write it that way when I finally got them together. So you do see Dean inevitably in a pair of panties. And I did get to use that dialogue, but I couldn't use it for the bingo. But I did make like a little note that, if I'd finished this fucker when I was supposed to, I would have been able to include the dialogue. If you really want to read it, you can find out why that dialogue is being used, but it's a little bit of a long fic. It wasn't going to be.
It's so good though. I would encourage everyone to read it. I really would, because I know you set out to be like, I'm going to write a one shot with Dean in pink panties and it's going to be cute, right? And that one shot would have been cute. But what it ends up being, as so many of Sandra's fics are, is it ends up being this really like deep exploration into Dean and, the ways that he is loved is the only way I can describe it. Because Elena, who is the female character in this, is very different from Winter from Past Due, is very different from Julie from Some Sunny Day. And they all share the same sort of theme of loving Dean, but it's always very different. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy in your writing is that I know I'm going to come in and I know I'm going to find a character that's gonna really fucking love Dean, and that's going to be great. And I'm going to get thrown some bones about Sam's hair or something like that, which is cute and I love. But it's always different. It's never like you don't repeat yourself. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I would encourage
to do. I mean, I think talking about Sam, like, I wanted to give him moments too, because his love of Dean and Elena's love of Dean, I think, are similar in a way. Like, they. But I also know, like, Dean and Sam have a bond that is quite extraordinary in many ways, and so him losing Dean at the end of season 3 is much different from a character who just, got the chance to sort of learn about him or start to get to know him. And
that's a particularly gnarly part of canon that I think you handled really well, because you I know my instinct being a Sam person anyway would have been to have Elle and Sam kind of come together in that moment, and you were like, nope. And, really, I don't know whether it was you or whether Sam forced it, but Sam really fucking took off on his own and left Elle just kind of going, what the fuck, though?
Well, I think too, like, just like following canon, you knew that Sam went on his own anyway. Like, he pulled away from Bobby too, so it just would make sense that, he would just do that for, whatever you find out ends up happening later. And it was fun. It was challenging to find those ways to bring her back in and around stuff that you knew
so good
happened. So it was like a puzzle piece putting together. And like, there's certain moments that I was like, I really want, like, when Dean realizes he was the one that broke he was the first seal to break. And then like in the hospital after, and then her going back to see him and being like, look, we can stop and we can just deal. And I think that's a theme that they always go through. Like, we could stop now. Like, we could try to stop now. But there's always something that I think in the boys prevents them from doing that fully. So I do sort of like, I do change the ending a little, like the ending of the show is not the ending that you get in this, but it pretty much follows canon, I think, up until about maybe, I don't know, end of season 10, season 11. It's around like the Demon Dean stuff that starts to like fade out. So I had fun with it. But but I can say that now. I did not have fun with it when I kept looking at it and going, because there was about 4 or 5 months. I mean, I was looking like I took a big break and I didn't go back to it. And I kind of was like, am I going to finish this? You know, kind of a thing. And
sometimes it do be that way, friend.
I'll say I probably did rush and I could have even written more, but I was like, no, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. I've got plans in place. I had started writing the ending, so I just kind of like had to rework the ending case and stuff to make it flow with what had previously happened. And then I was just, let's just go off to the races. And it was done. So yeah, no, it was
excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, that was a thing we went, you know, where it's like, I have an idea. This is when like, I think about you and Dreamer and your ideas. I'm like, no, I don't think I could be in that all the time because I know my list would grow. And I know we're very much different with our whips. I do not put my whip ideas really down anywhere until I feel like, okay, I think I'm really ready to work on this. So I can't say I have a idea list of, you know, of whips. I don't.
Longer.
I know. I would look at them and go like, I think I do like when we talk, sometimes if we get a little prompt and we start talking about something and then I just let it percolate. I'd be like, okay, let me see if that's going to be a thing. I just let it go. And then I'm in the shower. Maybe this. I get a lot of good ideas at 2 a.m. and in the shower. And then I'm like, let me hurry up and remember how this is going to go and how I can do the thing. So you kind of have to let that just sit and stew in your brain and let stuff happen. So yeah, that was finally done.
I equally let things sit and stew, but the problem is I have to write some of it down, otherwise I forget. And then I know that I had something and I've forgotten it, and then I'm mad about it. So.
I almost feel like if it keeps coming up in my brain, it's something I really want to tackle. So that's why I think I just let it go. Like is it really? No, I'm coming back to it. So then I'm like, yeah, I want to write this thing. So, but that was, it was fun. 65,000 words. So not,
so go read it.
Yeah, go read it.
Go read it.
And then another one I started with Jackal's Verse that I did not finish, but I started was Pets for Punks, which was
my
Priestley
ship, guys.
Priestley and Rowena. And we've talked about this before in episodes, but this came about because we were somehow talking about, I think were we talking about Priestley shirts first for something, and then you thought of the boys and Huey?
Probably, yeah.
Because you thought of Queen Maeve, right?
Yeah, I can't say which came first, but it was the shirts that Priestley wears in the movie 10-inch Hero, and Queen Maeve saying to Huey in The Boys, you should wear a t-shirt that says raw dog me on my bottom.
And I was like, oh, Priestley should wear that shirt. And then we were like, I know I came up, I was talking to you about bingo squares that I had, and I had this weird thing. I didn't know what to do with it. And it was like 3 things that you had to put into a story. And on the square, it's flirtation, whiskey, a mistake at a zoo.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to do with that? And I think we were
Betty
talking
White
about...
makes everything better. That's what you're going to do with that.
Yeah. So I think we were talking about Priestley's t-shirts, and I was like, oh, Priestley should wear a t-shirt that says raw dog me, I'm a bottom. So I put that in this story. To start off with, that he's in a shirt. I think it's a panda munching on some, is it bamboo? He's munching on something. And I think the way I described it was, it says raw dog me, I'm a bottom, with the panda on it. And it's a whole thing with Rowena and wanting to do a spell to get back at the Grand Coven. It falls in line, I think. This is another thing kind of in canon with both of the movie 10-inch Hero and the timeline for Supernatural, because you don't really see Rowena until about 10 years, almost 10 years after, the movie, quote unquote, 10-inch Hero. So there's some time to play with before she's introduced into Supernatural. So I was like, okay, I was like, we could do this. She can be in, let's have her be in LA. She's up to some mischief. She's trying to, get back at somebody. She needs something.
She's being Rowena.
She needs something at the zoo, and she sees this cute little punk boy, serving some subs and stuff.
Owl feathers. That was what she needed, because Sandra was like, I don't know dicks about owls, and I was like, wait right there, baby, I got you. And I said, Sandra, so much information about owls, fucking so much more information than any human being needs about owls. And I was like, I think you should pick this one.
Well, I found that really teeny tiny owl that's just adorable. Oh my god, it's adorable. What kind is it called? I can't even remember now. I don't even remember my own story.
Scopes owl, I think. Whatever it is,
it's so tiny. It's like little bird size, like teeny tiny bird size. It's so adorable. And so she was that I think caused a bunch of chaos with the whole thing. But anyway, that's a mistake at a zoo part. And there's of course the flirtation, and there's whiskey, I think, because
tags owls go bad.
When owls go bad.
Homage to Betty White and Owls Go Bad. Yeah. A comedy of errors.
Yeah. So it was a fun little idea. And then I was like, well, I could probably use a couple other squares, and I used Bound Together for the second part. But then I was going to use like online romance, which I think I kind of used for the third of it, because there's like stuff that's going on in the last bit. But the point was I got the 2 out of the 3 done before the bingo ended, and then I didn't finish. I didn't know if I was going to go back to it. And then I ended up there was a Women of SPN challenge that came up through the SPN fanfic pond, and it was going to be for March of this year. And I saw it, and Rowena was one of the characters that they had listed, and I was like, I could maybe if I've got like literally a month, maybe that will like force me to finish this, because I had started the third part, but I had kind of like let it go. This was another one that I think it was like months and months and months when I didn't get back to it. And then I was like, okay. So then I started plotting again, figuring some other stuff out. And then I ended up, using like the online romance, part of it. And I probably could have used other stuff too, but then the way it started to plot in my brain was more like bringing Tish. Have you seen the movie yet, Kasey?
I haven't seen the movie.
Okay.
I know Tish is Danielle's character though.
Yeah. Tish is Danielle's character. So like they get together at the end of the movie, but then based on my story, this was after the fact, they had broken up, because we've talked about it too. Like, even though you haven't seen it, the ending is very much where, in my mind, and I think a lot of other people agree with this, Priestley changes for her. And I don't think it's necessarily an inherent thing that she's doing to like make him, but I think he feels like he has to. And she doesn't necessarily tell him no, that he doesn't in the movie. It's kind of like, oh, great. It's almost like, when the smart girl takes off the glasses and then all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, like it's the first time I've ever seen you before. It's like, dude, same person, just because they're wearing some different shit. Yeah. So it's that kind of thing where
it was a burrowing owl.
A burrowing owl. So cute. They're
when Rowena tries to steal one.
But so I didn't know how it was going to end, but it felt like Tish had to come back into it. So
yeah.
I did a little bit of plotting.
There was some stuff that needed to be resolved with that.
And then there was a prompt for, hold on, let me pull it up. There was a prompt for the Women of SPN that I had to pick, because they gave you like some prompts, and you could pick like an aesthetic board that they had. So the first one was called Save a Tree. I named them all after Priestley's t-shirts. One was Save a Tree, Eat a Beaver. One was Surf Naked. And the third one was called Orgasm Donor. And the dialogue prompt was, you don't seem afraid at all. I don't understand that. Well, fear's sort of an odd thing. And then there was an aesthetic board that was kind of it had one scene that seemed very like Scotland to me. So I was like, well, let's bring her back to Scotland through all of this other stuff. And in the end, Priestley comes back to Rowena. How do you call their relationship?
It's so romantic, guys.
But what do you
he tracks her down to Scotland. It's so fucking cute. You guys don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
The servitude submission.
Okay. But you also called her like a mommy dom or something.
Oh my god, Rowena is a dom with a capital mommy. For real, for real. And it's oh my god, so fucking cute. It's so cute. Because like it's this really like so often you see like BDSM when it's when it's fucking represented anywhere really. And it's all about like sex and pain and pushing the limits and things like that, which is all totally valid. I'm not yucking anybody's yum.
Yeah.
But there's like another side to it, that like you can submit in so many ways that are not. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really like there certainly is a sexual element to Priestley and Rowena in this verse, but you really get the vibe that like Priestley just wants somebody. He just wants to be important in somebody's life. He changed for Tish and it wasn't good enough, and she still fucking left. He's kind of moping, and like Rowena doesn't ask him to be anything other than who he is. And she seems quite charmed and taken with who he is. Mm-hmm. And it's so fucking cute. It is so cute. So he's like, he just wants someone who accepts him and, doesn't want him to change. And he just wants to look after this person.
It's so funny, too, because I just watched an episode in season 13. It's the one where Rowena's killing the Reapers because she's trying to get Billy's attention, because basically she's like, I want you to bring Crowley back, take me, like that kind of a thing. Yeah. And it's her bodyguard. Dean like asks, you've got to listen to the quote. It's when he said it, I was like, this is probably what Priestley thinks. Cause he was like, Dean's like, what? So what? You're just doing her bidding? And he's like, dude, she's gorgeous. She pays me a ton of money. And, like something, he's like, she didn't have to do anything but just be who she is. And I'm just like, that's kind of like Priestley's, I think, vibe with Rowena as well, because I think him trying to change with Tish could have also been an aspect of like, maybe like what's expected, what he was, how he was expected to be even like sexually. And, like, I think for him, there's a service aspect that maybe, Tish and he weren't quite compatible with, and he didn't know what to do. Yeah. Maybe he was masking that part of himself again. Like he was sort of like putting on things or being something different for her. And now he's like taking all these layers off and he's getting to just be, with Rowena. And I think she's learning it too. She's like, oh, do I want this in my life right now, or is this just more problematic and stuff? And I think she likes to be showered with attention and taken care of. You just get you see that throughout the show. She
likes to be pampered and stuff.
So it was interesting to put that in a different setting and still get that kind of a situation.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the it takes Rowena a minute to realize that he genuinely doesn't want anything from her. Mm-hmm. He just wants to look after her, and not in a like, oh, you're weak, you need a man kind of thing. Just like, you deserve the good things in life. You deserve to be pampered. Let me look after you. Yeah. And I'd like, it's kind of hard to say which comes first, because she asks him for help and he just gives so freely. And I don't know if the like servitude submission, it was innate in Priestley, or if it was just that he was just so fucking awed by her that she asked for what she wanted, he gave it to her, she took it, and she didn't ask for anything else. You know?
I'll say that since you haven't watched it yet, right? Like if you watch it, get a vibe on Priestley, and then like let me know whenever you check it, because I do feel he's very peacocky, right? Like he wants to show himself off, but there's a really like softness to him. Like again, it's a little kind of like Dean about being like wearing something but being a little bit different. And you can kind of tell like he just wants to, I feel like, take care of people. He's very caring. And I think that comes out. And I think Rowena's just kind of like, oh, you're okay with just doing the thing. I don't have to glamour him. He's just going to be like, yeah, sure. I'm up for it, you know?
Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was fun. It was fun to do.
I saw a clip. I think it's from Jib Just Gone, but I saw a clip and it was like worst roles or something like that, a role that you regret or something like that. And I had just I bought the DVD of House of Wax for I watched it on Valentine's Day with my husband, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick up Devour. I'm not gonna save it until next Valentine's Day because I've heard that it's really pants, but I want to watch it. And then I saw this clip and Jensen was like, probably Devour. It wasn't that great a movie, and I was like, Jensen, no, I just bought that.
Some people have said they do like it though. I think we've had a couple people on that kind of like, you know, it's
I'll watch it for the I'll watch it for the chair scene. Like I don't really care about the rest of it. I'll watch it for that. But for some reason, attending cheer was pretty hard to get a hold of in this country.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's hard
why.
to get in general. Yeah, I mean, I got this years ago, and I think there was this whole thing because it was an independent, smaller film. It took a while for it to even like release, and then when it did, I don't think it was out for very long, and then I think it took even longer then for it to end up like on DVD and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty small budget.
I'll have a look on eBay for it.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. I'll take a look. But yeah, no, it's seriously, y'all need to go read it. It's really fucking funny.
But it was another
really
one
funny.
I was able to finish, and again, like using that.
You did
that
blue ball me with
challenge.
this one, though.
That one I did
blue
because
ball me
you
with this.
actually the stuff we talked about that maybe at some point you were like, Rowena needs to peg Priestley, and I'm like, it just didn't feel like it was ready at that point.
It is absolutely not ready.
Yeah.
Like you absolutely could have thrown in like a gratuitous hand job. You 100% could have thrown in a hand job.
I was also so ready to be done with it too. I mean,
yeah. To be fair, Sandra was just checking things off her fucking like wash done, Pets for Punks done. Next thing, just checking shit off. She was like, I'm done with this.
The majority, I think I wrote like 5K words of Pets for Punks like in a day. Like I just started writing. I'm like, I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. I gotta get this done. And then I just kept going. And then I think I wrote at the end, this is fucking it. I'm not writing any more of this goddamn story. I am done. I said, I'm done. I put it in caps so I would not come back to it. I was like, nope, don't do anything with it right now. So again, never say never. I might eventually write that scene.
Where it leaves off, you can tell that there's like arousal. Like very much so. You can tell that there's arousal. You can tell that there's attraction. You can kind of get the vibe that they're fooling around. But it actually, the way the story that the last part takes, you don't need it. It's so good, like on its own, like just the vibes. I mean, I require gratuitous hand jobs and explicit sex scenes, but you know, for normal people. Just the vibes. The vibes are there.
About. There's some oral sex, but it's not like very like in depth or detailed. But it's just like I felt like this was like the way to be like, okay, this is the start of whatever else is going to happen for them. Like they've been doing a lot of other things, and then it's like, here we go.
It's very choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
it's very like this is where the book ends. You can take it wherever you want to take it from it.
Yeah,
it's so fucking good to go read it. You should read everything Sandra's ever written anyway, but you should definitely read Wash, Rinse, Repeat and Pets for Punks.
And then the last thing I did, because I did sign up for Stacy's Princess Misery 666, her alphabet quest, but I had not done anything with it. And it's getting ready. It's on the last, I think the last month is coming up. I think the final group of letters is coming up by the time this is going to come out soon. So this is on track. We're only a couple weeks behind. I started looking at all of the different prompts and stuff. I'm like, these are a lot. There's a lot here. And then I just started writing down the ones I was like, maybe I could do something with this with something. Maybe I could do something with this with something. And then I was like, I'd been talking about wanting to do something with Julie and Dean from Some Sunny Day, my Some Sunny Day series for a while. And then I started to think about, I don't even know what we were talking about, but I think it was all these things of like, I love the aspect of witchcraft letting you explore all of these fun little like mistakes, quote unquote, that can happen, and then just seeing what happens with it. And I for some reason I've been getting it in my brain. I really want to do something with like a younger Dean, and I was like, well, I think we did de-aging not too long ago for tags and
Yeah,
tropes.
I think that might have been what sparked it. You were like, I'm thinking about this.
Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay. And then I started looking at the prompts. I was like, I could probably use this. I might be able to use this. I might be able to use that. I'm like, oh, well, why don't I just call it the ABCs of Julie and Dean? So it's just it's sort of like taking different parts of stuff that maybe like through the timeline. There's a certain timeline where I'm going to focus on the de-aging part. But then I think I was saying to you, Kasey, that I never really like in the story, Julie and Dean get married, but you never really see them, the actual like marriage. They just like, Julie drives to Vegas and just like, should we just do it now? And then that's kind of how I leave that one part of it. But I thought it might be fun to like revisit them getting married. So I might do that too as part of the prompts and stuff. So kind of like little timestamps, but this one right now, the de-aging part is pretty much following a certain period of time, like in between that I don't really like deal with a lot, but it's like between a couple things. So I'm going to be working on that. But I've used about maybe 12 of the prompts, like in just 3 different parts of the ABCs.
I want to specify just for my own, like Dean is de-aged to like his early 20s, not like a child.
No. He's like 25 or 26. Yeah, he's 25 or 26. No,
so around season 1.
Yeah,
Dean.
yeah.
But Julie's in her 40s.
Yes, early 40s. So I'm gonna let her,
which is absolutely completely separate to Sandra.
I'm gonna let her have fun with Dean. So try not to be too angsty, but also like eventually have some fun with it. Right now she's all angst, like I can't believe I did this, but Dean's gonna wear her down, and she's gonna have a fun time with him at some point because
Dean's gonna be like, fucking baby, you don't even know I could fuck all night, and she's gonna be like, but I want to go to bed. And he's gonna be like, baby, you don't even know. It's gonna be really good. I can't wait.
So that one I will. I will give that to you, but it's just going to take me a little while because life is busy. But
life happens, man. Life happens.
But that's what I've been working on. So I've been getting back to things, and I've been finishing things off. Julie and Dean will never really be finished, but this is just going to be a little like dip into stuff with them.
Kind of like I'm never going to mark my
Cottageverse.
Cottageverse is finished because I might always go back and have another.
Yeah, because that's fun, right? It's fun stuff to do. It's nice to get back to things like that, and I think
it is fun.
So, but
is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Okay,
you got to give us an update.
You see what happened was. We did the Winchester Big Bang last year, and not long after that all went live, I found out that there was going to be a Sam Winchester JarPad Big Bang. And I was like, well, I have to represent this. I can't not represent this, really, can I? I can't. And it didn't close until December the 22nd. So I had we posted the Windsor stuff in October. So I had a minute to think about it. And y'all will probably distinctly remember the last time we talked about bangs, I was like, never again, this was awful. It wasn't awful. It wasn't. I don't just do as well with deadlines that I have to be creative with, as I thought I did. But it's Sam, okay? And there hasn't been a Sam-focused Big Bang for a few years now. So for this to come up, like now, I was like, this is fate. So I signed up, and Sandra and Dreamer were like, you fool, what have you done? You said never. And I was like, oh, but it's Sam, you guys don't even know. Like, shut up, you have Dean Bang, shut up. Actually, to be fair, Dreamer was like, literally never again. And I was like, you can join with me, and I could feel the scathing look across the globe. She was like, never again. And like, Sandra, it's not Sandra's vibe, you don't particularly enjoy writing Sam anyway.
I find him difficult. I find him difficult to write. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with him, but I like you were with Dean for a long time. I'm still not.
It takes a minute to get inside their heads. Yeah. And I will say, I don't think I could write an in canon heterosexual Dean the way that you do. When I write Dean, he's all angsty and hard for his brother. irrelevant. Anyway, so I signed up for the bag. I got Dreamer to give me a prompt because it was all ships were a go, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this is the nature of bangs, isn't it? Reader insert original character wasn't allowed. And I had been saying, this is why I shouldn't open my mouth, guys. I had been saying for ages, I was like, I miss Sam. I'd been working on a lot of Winchester stuff. Even, like, obviously the Winchester Big Bang took up the majority of my 2024, like, creatively. But even before that, I'd been working on Junkies, and I'd done Perfect Balance, which was Winchester and stuff like that. And even before that, the last, like, reader insert thing I'd done was Dean with Save a Horse.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been a minute since I had been with Sam on our own, so to speak. And obviously it had to be like, and I got like, it's SamWin JarPad, so I could have done Jared as well, but that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. So I reached out to Dreamer and I was like, I want to do Samcest, which is because I'm nothing if not an overachiever, guys. I could have written any fucking Winchester story for the Winchester Big Bang, and I was like, no, I'm going to make a gender fluid Dean, and it's going to be all angsty and fucking. And then I was like, do you know what? I could have written the next fucking installment of Junkies for this goddamn thing and been done with it, but no. I'm going to write Samcest. I'm going to write Sam loving Sam. It's going to be fucking awesome. And now the deadline's coming up, and I'm still not finished, and I genuinely feel like I'm running out of teeth to pull with this thing. But Dreamer gave me a prompt, and I was like, fucking sweet. So I am the deadline. This is at time of recording. It is the 12th of April. This fic is due on the 29th, and we start posting. I'm not posting on the 2nd, but the posts start going up on the 2nd for Sam's birthday. I think I'm like the 10th, maybe something like that. I'm early, but I'm not like the first.
Okay, so you said yours might be around the 10th, or you don't know yet? You do know?
No, I know.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Now, do you still? Is it just like every other bang? Like, does it need to get betaed and?
Yeah, it's got to be betaed.
Mm-hmm.
But Dreamer has, also kindly offered to assist me with.
I'm looking forward to it. I have not read any of it. I don't know anything about it. No,
I'll fill you in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm posting on the 6th.
Okay, so that's not too far.
Yeah, so it's not too far.
Okay.
It's not finished.
Well,
panic. It's not finished.
How long were you expecting it to be, and how long is it now?
Right. So I was really fucking clear about this. It was going to be a wanking fic. That was what it was going to be. It was going to be Sam and a mirror and wanking.
Okay.
That was it. Right.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, and I was absolutely adamant that I wasn't going to fucking do what I did with Sense for the Winchester Big Bang and just let it go fucking insane and become like 40k. I was like, no, it's just a wanking fic. So it's a mini. I signed up for a mini bang, which is up to 9,999. It's closing in on that number now. It probably is going to go over 10k, but not by much. I genuinely do not have that much left to write.
Okay.
I just have to like knuckle down and write it. I was going to write last night, and then
Discord went absolutely crazy.
Posted a gif of Johnny Depp's nose, and it just went off the fucking rails.
Anything like that before in my life in that channel. I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
I really had this really funny image because, like, you and MJ came in at similar times, going, "What the fuck is happening?" And I just had this really funny image of you both just going into the DMs, going, "The kids are off again! Fuck's sake!" It was fucking me, and Dreamer, and Liz, and Val, and a couple of others. I was just fucking back and forth.
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
The thing is, it was going so fast too. Like, I usually can't keep. Like, I was trying to scroll through, but because the additions to the thread were happening so fast, my scrolling kept getting bounced. I was like, "What is going on? They need to stop. I can't keep up. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I did manage to write like about 130 words after that though. But then I had to go to bed because we had to do this today.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be. No, don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous. It wasn't this. It was like I had to like get up and shower and like make myself a person before we did this. That was the problem. If I could have crawled out of bed at 2:45 and just plugged my laptop in, I would have done that. But we had like video stuff to do, so I had to hello, Jinxie. But yeah, it's probably just gonna like just creep over 10k, but that's totally fine. I locked in on the mini bang path.
Okay.
So I've got my banner art from my artist, and it's beautiful. My artist is Slurpee. If you know them, go say hi. Obviously all the details will be on Tumblr and all that good shit. And I'll get like one piece of artwork.
Nice. Very nice.
From that
I
as
did
well.
see, I think I saw the banner and it's
beautiful, isn't it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I guess kind of quick rundown. You know, in the Men of Letters bunkers, they have those silly sinks in the room with the mirror above them, like a kind of like a cabinet mirror that you can store things in.
Right.
Sam breaks his.
Okay.
Comes in drunk, falls over, puts his hand out for the cabinet to catch him, and just fucking smashes it off the wall and breaks it. And this just, I think it's one of those things that you don't realize how inconvenient it is not to have a mirror in your room until you don't have a mirror in your room.
Mm.
But if someone said to you, why do you have a mirror in your room? You'd be like, I don't know. Just fucking is. It's just like, you need it, but you couldn't explicitly say why. But anyway, he tries to put it without it, finds it's really inconvenient. So this is kind of like, I maybe imagine this. It's not specifically set in any time frame for me, but I imagine it's after. It's set in season 9, but it's after Gadriel is forced out.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it's after Samathur, it's after all the various other fucking demonic possessions that poor Sam has had, and it's after being possessed by Gadriel.
Okay.
So Sam likes having the mirror in his room because when he wakes up from a nightmare, he likes to be able to look at his face and see that he doesn't have black eyes or blue eyes, or, you know. So it's just this fucking inconvenient to keep traipsing down to the bathroom to look at the fucking mirror to make sure his face is his face. And he remembers that he saw a mirror in storage when they moved in.
That's
and it was
good.
Yeah, it was fine. You know, they didn't need a mirror; they just left it. So he goes and he tracks down this mirror and he tests it and stuff, and he can't find anything magical about it. He can't find anything weird about it. So he takes it back to his room. And it's like this big, heavy, like ornate mirror. Like it's not a little bathroom cabinet mirror. It's meant to be like hung in a cloakroom or an entryway or something. So you can look at yourself before you leave the house. It's like gilded wood and
it's
like
top to toe, right? So you see, get the whole thing.
I don't know,
or no.
I don't think it's quite top to toe. It's about about a foot and a half wide, maybe like 4 foot high.
Okay. Okay.
So you know, if you stepped, like if you were stood up to it, you'd see like your whole upper body, and if you step back, you'd see your feet.
Sam would have to go all the way back to like a parking lot for somebody to be able.
Sam would have to take a few steps. Yeah, but it's this really big, like ornate. It's like fleur-de-lis and curlicues, and Sam fucking hates it. He's like, this is ostentatious in the extreme. What the fuck? But I need a mirror. So he hefts this fucking mirror, and he waits until Dean's left, and he hefts this mirror back to his room. And he puts it up, and it's all, you know, it's all fine. Just whatever. It's a mirror. It didn't suck him into a hell dimension. It didn't do anything. He touched it. It's all fine. He's tested it. But then feels like the mirror's moving when he looks at it, and it's like it's just off a little bit, and it happens a couple of times. And he kind of like he puts it off to like a trick of the light or being tired, and then there's it's so weird, Cest. This fic is so fucking weird, Cest. There's nothing going on between Sam and Dean whatsoever. There's no Winchester in this at all, but they're fucking weird because I am just categorically incapable of writing it like that anymore. No, weird Cest, Jen Cest. I don't know. They're fucking weird with each other. Yeah. So the last thing we see before the main bulk of the story is sort of Dean comes like barreling in, like, I got a call from Jodie, we gotta go. And as Sam's kind of like sitting up and looking, the mirror moves, and he's like, oh, fuck. So he calls Dean in, and he's like, look at this mirror. Does this mirror look normal to you? And Dean's like, why is it directly opposite the bed? What is happening? Because that's the only place Sam can put it. There is an image that I will probably include with the fic or something, but it's behind the door in his room. Okay. And it's the only bit, because it's like this huge fucking thing, and he's like, I'm not drilling into the fucking wall. God knows what I'll release. So he's just lined up against the wall behind his bed. But Dean comes in and he's like, you want to see your O-face that badly? You kinky fucker. What is wrong with you? Dean is like my favorite character in this, for real. But anyway, so they go, and that's it. They just leave. And Sam's like, I'll deal with it when I get back. But when he comes back, he's been sex cursed. Which is, I know Sandra likes some sex porn. Yeah. He's been sex cursed. Dean locks him in his room effectively. Dean's like, I brought you water, I brought you protein bars, I brought you lube, I brought you my favorite skin mag. Fucking don't go blind, basically. And it's gonna last. I think there is a timer in it of 12 hours at the moment, but I'm potentially going to take that out. It's just going to last as long as it lasts.
Okay.
You know, it's whatever. They spent some time in the car. It's whatever. So Sam is, you know, furiously fucking masturbating. As one does when one's in sex Poland. And the mirror talks to him. And he's like, no, it fucking didn't. I'm going insane. But it did. And then as we go, like, sort of going on from there, like, Sam's like, is this real? And the mirror's like, yeah, no, this is not. And he's like, this is a part of the curse. And the mirror's like, no, really, no, I'm here. And it's not like, it's a sentient reflection. It's not a different entity. So it kind of like, so when Sam touched the mirror initially, when he found it in storage, that's what kind of like woke up the magic, if you will.
Right.
But it's not evil. It's not demonic. It's not a monster in any way. It's just like just a magic mirror, you know, like a Disney mirror.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because we just did the tags and tropes like transformation, so it's not the anthropomorphic thing that's happening in this situation.
No. So then we go through. Poor Sam has to spend a fat chunk of time with himself. I said, I was like, I want to get back to Sam. Like, I miss Sam. It's too much Sam now, guys.
Oh, there's never enough Sam.
There's never too much Sam. But it transpires that when he's on his own, he do tend to get a bit maudlin. He needs a person. You do need a person. And I was like, I'm just gonna, there's no point in doing this if I do Wincest, because I've just done Wincest. I want Wincest all the time because I'm such a pretentious fuck. So I was like, no, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do something different, which is what fucking led me to Sense, which still is one of the things I'm the most proud of.
Yes.
But that was fucking hell to write. And I'm like, why are you like this? You could have just written a nice little wanking fic, like 3,000-4,000 words, and been no.
God.
So Sam gets a bit existential, I guess, and it sort of starts kind of examining his life. Like his you know, like his intimate life, and how he's kind of just like the nature of his intimate life leaves him unfulfilled. Let's say he's bisexual, pansexual, whatever. He fucks men and women, and without exception, they expect him to be like toppy and dommy, and you know, and he's fine with that. Like he doesn't have a problem with that, but nobody really takes the time to find out what makes him tick. So he gets a bit like, oh, about that.
Yeah.
And then I have this really, really beautiful scene. I can't wait for you to read it, Sandra. Really beautiful fucking scene. And it's Sam looking at himself in the mirror. I think he jerks off in the middle of it, but that's not important. Who hasn't jerked off while they're looking at themselves in the mirror? I have not. Do not quote that out of context. Fucking hell.
He takes the time with himself.
He literally goes from like his feet to his neck, and he doesn't look at his face because there's like he's having like a bit of a disconnect because while the mirror is reflecting him, the face is not reflecting the same. So like from the neck down, he looks like him. You know, kind of like maybe the arms don't move the same way his move, but it's a passable reflection of him. Right. But from the face up, it's not like he's sweaty and gross and crying and disgusting. And the mirror looks mostly put together. Okay. But he could literally goes from his feet, like up his legs, over his stomach, his chest, and it was to right. Fucking, but I had the best time. Do you know how many naked or nude or semi-nude pictures of Jared I had to look up? I was having the best fucking time, guys. I was having the best time.
Good.
Do you know how many pictures there are of Jared's legs out there? Not that many. Not that many. I know. I looked them up. Not that many. Loads of pictures of him without his shirt off, but I know what he looks like without his shirt off. I wanted to know what his legs look like.
In the yoga episode where he plays yoga instructor, was there any good?
I needed to know what his thighs looked like.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I found a picture.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to do with either of them situations, so I don't think you could.
No, Jensen's got that really nice one where he's wearing the short shorts and they're playing around with the
and
the borax.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but Sam's wearing jeans in that scene. But no, it's really nice. And yes, it's just kind of like there's a fair amount of like time skipping and jumping around, and we see like how Sam kind of tries to deal with the curse is painful.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of see how Sam tries to like meditate and things like that. And I put in this really sweet scene about, I suppose you would technically call it a part of guided meditation, but you know, like when you picture an image, like picture a beach and you're walking on the sand and you're laying down on it so you can hear the waves and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but there's no guided Sam just kind of doing it on his own. But what he pictures is being in a field, just sitting on the hood of the Impala with Dean and looking at the stars. It's real fucking cute. It's real nice.
Well, when you were talking about looking in the mirror too, I mean, like I've heard about a lot of things like meditating or just grounding yourself and just like taking the time to just take yourself in. You know, a lot of people don't do that enough. Just like, you know, just
trying accepting
yourself and accepting all of the things that make you. He's
not trying to do that.
No, but I'm saying like that was kind of like the feeling that, you know, I was getting when you were like, it kind of felt like a little bit almost like meditative, like what people tend to do if they really just need to focus and just slow things down and just get back to themselves and accept themselves. Like that's a big part of it too.
And I mean, it was, we sort of, as we're going through, we realize that Sam doesn't necessarily have a great deal of interest in his physical body. He doesn't particularly take an interest in what like gets him off and things like that. It's all very like, if he wants to fuck, he'll go out and fuck. And if he's jerking off, it's because it's 3 a.m. and he's had a nightmare and, you know, he can't sleep or whatever. The mirror being sentient, it makes it feel to him like it's something else. So he's not looking at himself. You know, like it's not vain in his mind. He's not like admiring himself. He's looking at a different thing, and that gives him the ability to really look and appreciate his body. And the mirror has an interesting voice, I will say. I didn't set out for it to have any, like I didn't have its voice in my head, but it's quite kind of like, I guess like old-timey would be the best way to describe it. It's got quite a distinctive way of speaking. Okay. But it's very complimentary of Sam. And it's very soothing, and you know, it's very praising of Sam, and you know, trying to just tell him nice things and be nice with him and all this kind of stuff.
Be nice with him. That's so important.
Just needs to be loved.
Nice. Be nice to Sam.
So we're on to the last. I'm on to the last scene now, which is Sam's just fucking done with this. He's just done. He's like screaming and crying, and he's just fucking done with this now. He's in pain. He's like his dick's been hard for hours. He's done with this. And the mirror is now kind of sort of taking over it and guiding him through. Not necessarily this act is what's going to break the curse, but after this, the curse is going to break, and then we're just going to have poor Sammy. And I haven't decided, because Dean locked him in. Dean deadbolted the door. Okay. So I kind of figure that Dean's going to maybe have been keeping an eye on the time and sort of come back and check after the 12 hours and just be like, are you alive? Are you okay? And I haven't decided if Dean's going to come in and Sam's just going to be like, get out and go to bed. Or if he's just going to like shove Dean out of the way and be like, I need a shower. I need 8 showers, fucking hell. I haven't decided, but those are just the last 2 little bits.
That's a lot for just, it was going to be a wanking fic. There's a lot going on there.
It'd be a wanking fic, mate. Just gonna sit in front of a mirror and wank off, and then I've got no idea what happened.
I think what I've noticed too, like about your writing, is that you really do focus on like scene. Do you know what I mean? So I can see how this time frame of like 12 hours would give you time to go through all of the stuff that's occurring. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a long period of time, right? Like it's just like it's this curse of just like this introspection that Sam does a lot of. And I think, you know, like you said, sometimes you're like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, I very much wish now, closing in on the other end of it, that I'd just given him a partner, because it's so much easier to soothe him when you can have someone physically touch him and reassure him and stuff like that, which was I decided pretty early on, because like I said, Dreamer gave me this prompt, and it was just like, you know, finding the mirror, Sam breaks his mirror and he finds a new one, and the reflection is appreciative of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided pretty early on that I wanted it to stay. I didn't want anything to like come out of the mirror and like physically,
Right.
you know, engage with Sam.
Right.
But it's a lot fucking harder when you're trying to soothe him from inside his own head, because it's dark in there, y'all.
Yeah.
Bless him, he's a baby man, and I love him so much, but I just, whew. I could have just written Winchester. I could have just written the next fucking Junkies. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. And then, because I'm fucking psychotic, because I'm insane, around a little while after I'd signed up for this bang, the JarPad Bingo was announced. And I was like, the JarPad Bingo's been announced. Sandra and Dreamer were like, we will pan you in the face. What are you doing? And I was like, no, guys, you know, there's no end date on it. And there isn't. There's no like, you know, like it doesn't end. It's just going on forever. And I was like, there's no end date on this, because I tried to do Jackal's, like I'd signed up for Jackal's verse, and then I signed up for the Winchester Big Bang, and the bang took like all of my bandwidth, which is why I only got 2 of the Jackal's verse prompts done. And they were like, you tried to do this last year, and I was like, no, you don't understand. I'll be fine this time. And also, like, the bang ends in May. So even if I don't do anything with the bingo until the bang is finished, like I'll still have time afterwards. And it didn't have an end date. And as it turned out, I signed against their better judgment and mine. But as it turned out, when I got my bingo card, which I have here, when I got my bingo card, one of my squares was masturbating, and I was like, fucking goddamn, look at that. That's goddamn perfect. I can do my bang and fill one of my bingo squares at the same fucking time. Perfect.
Oh, goodness.
So that's what I'm doing.
Can you, was there anything else you could have used, or no, nothing else really fit? Could you use more than one bingo? Can you only, because it'd be one bingo square per fic, or how does that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I potentially could have done unhealthy coping mechanisms, because that's another one. So my bingo card is marking, bleeding to death, masturbating, dialogue that shouldn't have happened, unhealthy coping mechanisms, thigh humping, a song called "Hurt Myself the Hardest" by Allegra Jordan, dialogue prompt, so strip club, which is actually directly picked from Supernatural, which I didn't realize. Yeah. And then dialogue prompt, does it feel good? So I probably could have I could have done unhealthy coping mechanisms. I could have done that shouldn't have happened. But when I got my card through, and I was like, it's fucking right there. It's right there. Like that, like the planets aligned for me on this. They really, really did. Yeah. So in a couple more weeks, I'll be posting my Sam Winchester, Jared Padalecki Big Bang. Yay. And also filling a square on my Jared Padalecki Bingo. Yay. Well. And obviously with the bingo, you can use different, the bang could only be Sam or Jared, but the bingo can be, it can be Sam, it can be Walker, Cordell Walker, it can be Jared, it can be Clay Miller.
Oh, from Friday the 13th?
I think so.
I think his name was Clay, but I don't remember for sure.
I fucking know his name was Clay. I like that movie.
I did watch that movie.
I don't like that movie. It's very meh. But
the shirt.
I know a lot about the shirt. It's the shirt that doesn't fit, guys. The shirt that doesn't fit. Okay, so you can do Jared in RPF, Sam, Cordell, Dean Forrester from Gilmore Girls, Camden Casey, which was his character in Fire Country, and Clay Miller from Friday the 13th. Okay. And you can only do one square per fic. And I checked with the mods who are running the bang are also in the bingo. So I reached out to the mod and I was like, can I please use my bang fic for a bingo square? And they very graciously went, yes, of course, which was very nice. Helpful. Very good. And actually, I have most of them are Sam. I have a couple of Jared ideas as well. But I have an idea for every Phil.
Okay, good.
So let me just, it's in a document, guys. I have a document. I was not prepared for this. Oh, I need to update that because now I have an idea for bleeding to death. Which Sandra, I was talking about it in Discord, and Sandra sent me messages. She was like, if you write that, I'm not going to read it.
I was like, I'm skipping a roux. I'm just skipping around it. I was like, I'm sorry. That's one of the things. Nope. I do
Just-
think that. Nope.
Oh, no. What if I didn't go all the way with it? Like the idea that was floating around was wound fucking. And the conversation that I was having in Discord was like, no, don't put dicks in cavities, which is I stand by that. Don't do that. And Crowley's mistress, bless her, was like, people put dicks everywhere. Like, think bigger. But initially, I had what about fingers in wounds? Like, that counts as wound fucking, wound fingering. That's the thing.
Well,
So what if I just did that?
Did that? Dreamer did that.
She did.
Yeah.
What if I just did that? What if I didn't go the whole dicks in cavities? What if I didn't go the whole hog with it? I might do. I can't promise.
Just be prepared that if something comes up, I may skip it. I may skip through it. I may skip that bit. I may skip that part. Yeah,
that's okay. But no, I have. So if anybody out there has read mine and Dreamer's like Desard Chesters, so I think it's called Inspired by the Marquis de Sade verse, which is my fic Perfect Balance and her fic. And Perfect Balance and Certain Souls are both taken from quotes by the Marquis de Sade.
Okay.
It has been brought to my attention recently that is not how you pronounce that word, but I'm going to keep pronouncing it that way and nobody can stop me.
Well, how do they say it's son?
Marquess.
Oh.
Even though it's not fucking spelt like that in any capacity. But
that's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Desard. So if you've read them, especially if you've read Perfect Balance, you would know that Dean has scarification across his shoulders that spells out owned. So I have a prompt for marking. How did Dean get those scars?
Okay.
Now we're going to find out.
A little bit of a prequel. We get a little bit of prologue. We get to find out.
A little bit of a prequel. Well, that's not really a story. That's just like timestamps and snippets and stuff like that.
So, yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna find out how that all came about. Bleeding to death. I have an idea for that. But I won't go into detail because Sandra's like, I will be sick. Sandra doesn't like body horror whatsoever.
You can go into detail. Let's other people will want to hear it. So what is it? Go ahead, go into detail.
Okay, so my idea for that is nobody's fucking wounds while somebody's bleeding to death. I want to specify that right off the bat, right? So my idea is, and I haven't decided. I think I'm going to injure Dean. I do think I'm going to injure Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Sandra.
That's okay.
But like fully like holding your guts in, injured, right? You know, like call an ambulance, kind of injured.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam's like literally holding Dean's guts in, and his fingers are like in the cavities. Bless him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, get Dean to a hospital, stitch him up. He lives. It's fine. Months later, Dean's going to be like, I literally can't stop thinking about it, kind of thing.
Okay.
And they're kind of, you know, like. In my head, they were just going to play around with like knives and fingers. But then I had this idea for like Soulless that got really dark. And there's this fic, like, don't read it, Sandra. It is not for you, but
it's like, don't read it, Sandra. Don't read it.
Well, you can read it.
You know.
It's called Sunder by the author is It's a Kit Kat. And it's oh god, it's so good. Don't read it, Sandra. It's so fucking good. It's so good. It's like teen Sam, and Dean like catches himself harming.
Okay.
And anyway, Sam just basically ends up manipulating him into sex. And it's so fucking dark and it's so fucked up. And Sam is so genuinely mentally ill in it. Don't read it.
Okay.
Sandra's like, I will.
Sold me on not reading it.
Yeah. No, it's really, really good. But yeah, so I had another idea for Soulless that came with a really great line of dialogue. Mm-hmm. And then I had another idea that, you know, maybe it's just like maybe it's something like Sunder where Sam is just genuinely sick, you know.
Okay.
But that's gonna mangle something together for that. Masturbating, obviously that's in process. Can we talk about the name of this fic, because I'm really smart and I'm really fucking proud of myself.
Let's talk about the name of the fic.
So the name of the fic is Temet no Se, which Suki, tell me if I'm pronouncing that right, because it's Latin. Right. And it's not, I don't think it's proper Latin. Basically, if you've seen the movie The Matrix, the first movie, Neo goes to see the Oracle, And during this, she points to a sign above her door, and she goes, "See that? It means know thyself." And so I looked at what the Latin for that was, and that is the Latin. And when I looked it up, I found out that people were like, "Nah, you wouldn't really say it like that," but like, kind of, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice reference. So if you take that know thyself, and then you take the biblical meaning of the word to know someone.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really wanky, pretentious joke about wanking. And I was so fucking proud of myself when I thought of that. I was like, this is what I'm calling the fic. It's so pretentious. I love it so much. So that's what it's called, and I'm really, really proud of it. My artist messaged me and they were like, "What does it mean?" And I was like, "Oh, it means know thyself." And they were like, "Oh, I asked Alexa and she and I was like, "Yeah, it means know thyself." But it's a really, really stupid, pretentious joke about wanking.
Oh, but I think it's gonna. It sounds like it's gonna be really good. It sounds like we're in for a little bit of a Sam journey.
Gonna learn some things
to do. Yes,
gonna learn some things about Sam.
So, in terms of like the times, like you said, like you had to spend a lot of time like researching like his body and stuff. So, is there any time
absolutely
when he looks
awful? Just it was a horrible time for me. I had to look at so many pictures of Jared. You don't even know. There's
really no like moment where he's like, "I'm really not that bad." He doesn't get there. Does he get there a little bit?
He does get there a little bit.
You said the mirror soothes him. So I mean, does it soothe him in a way that it's lasting?
The mirror very much reinforces that he's beautiful, and even though he doesn't consider himself thus, he is.
At least somebody's trying, so that's important. Okay,
he doesn't come away from looking at the mirror like, "Oh my god, I'm so handsome," though, you guys. But
but more about himself, like like not even just like the physical part of it, but just like the part of him inside that feels like it's bad and evil and all of these things that kind of festers within him. I think a lot of the time that he doesn't deserve to put on himself, and
no, I don't think it helps with that. He does. Okay. The disconnect between him and the mirror does let him look at himself with more of an unbiased eye.
Okay.
And sort of see that he is more
objective than like subjective.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's able to look at himself and be pleased with what he sees.
Okay.
And see that yes, he is attractive. And it's kind of more like he's able to be proud of the work he's put in to his body instead of just viewing it as like a machine and just tools. He can look at it and go, actually, it looks good. The work I do pays off, but it doesn't.
I think that for Sam, a lot of it is just function, right? Like for a long period of time for him. And like, we've talked about different things as to why he's probably that way or isn't that way. And based off of what's happened to him, throughout canon and stuff on the show. But yeah, just more like it gets him to do the things he needs to do for hunting and different things like that. And I think it's not necessarily that he, I think Dean gives him a hard time. He doesn't necessarily treat it like a temple because he thinks highly of himself. It's because of what he needs his body to do for him,
it's
or protect him from, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's like Dean puts the high quality oil and gas in the car because she's his baby and she deserves the best.
But then
Sam puts the high quality food in his body because that's how you keep it running the best.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So it sounds like a good read. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. I'm probably going to be like, "Oh, poor Sam," but I'm going to be like,
"So
this is fucking great."
I had so many ideas that some of them have been shuffled to a sequel. So hopefully we'll get a breakthrough.
Okay.
With Sam.
Good. I'm looking forward to the breakthrough then. I want good things for him too.
Yeah.
He needs it.
So I'm just I'm conscious of the time, so I'm just kind of running through. Yeah, so we've got Desarchesters, Wincest, masturbating is obviously Samcest. That shouldn't have happened. Boy King Sam, which I've never written before.
Hmm.
And unwilling Dean. Not non-consenting Dean, but unwilling Dean.
Okay.
Unhealthy coping mechanisms is going to be the next thing I write for Junkies.
Okay.
It's not going to be the next installment of the Junkies story. It's going to be a timestamp where we go backwards. And y'all can blame Tumblr for that because Tumblr gave me the best idea and I was like, I have to write this. You don't even know. We got some J2. J2. There's J2 in there, which is for thigh humping. J2 Mia at a wedding, both wearing flower crowns. Isn't that fucking cute? There's this really beautiful artwork of Jared wearing a flower crown. It looks like AI, but it's not. But it's really beautiful.
Cute.
The song "Hurt Myself the Hardest," unrequited Winchester.
Okay.
And strip club. You may recall many, many eons ago, Sandra, that I was like, I'm never writing another threesome. There's entirely too many limbs and too many dicks, and I fucking know, right? Yeah, well, I'm going to write another one.
Okay. What?
Male, female this time.
Oh, okay.
Could be Sam, could be Jared. And I know I'm sticking to the cliches here, but I don't know any of these other characters that well.
That's fine. You don't have to. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I could watch the 3 episodes of Fire Country that he's in, but how much can you know about a character from 3 episodes, you know?
Well, that's, I think, when you just kind of like, then you let it, you know, some people tend to like that aspect of it because it leaves things open, you know, like you can kind of go like, I know you do. I know you need to know the character.
I need to know a thing. And then another Winchester to round it out for Does This Feel Good? So I have ideas for everything. Whether I'll get to everything, we shall see.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But yeah.
I'm looking forward to all this stuff.
That's my silly ideas.
So I think we've learned Kasey has to stop saying they'll never do a thing.
Yeah.
Again.
I have to start saying not right now.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Not at the moment.
Yeah. Or leave it with me.
Yeah, probably something like that. Probably something like that.
Oh. Well, I'm excited. I think it's good to do a check-in too, like for the stuff where we're kind of like working on or not working on, and because I think we both go in different ups and downs, you know, with our creativity and stuff like that. And so sometimes you just need a little bit of a like, here's an idea, and then expand on it. Do you think we'll ever get to the point where we do like a short challenge again? Not anytime soon, but like we have to keep it under a certain amount.
I would, yeah.
Do you like feel
a
like
self-inflicted one like we did?
Yeah. Do you feel like is it harder for you to keep it shorter now?
It apparently so, yes. Apparently so, yes. Yes. I really enjoyed our self-inflicted word count. I would like to do that again.
Okay.
Can you let me finish my bang fic first?
I absolutely can. I'm not saying anytime soon. I'm just saying never say never. We will do it again. Leave it with me. We'll figure it out at some point. Not anytime soon.
Since you like to ramp up the challenges on those things, because last time I was like, all right, it's fine. And you were like, no, I'm going to do Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
You should make me write something that I've like not written, and you should write Sam Reader.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of something you could give me that I haven't. What would you give me? Because I've written Dean Reader.
For Sam Reader?
No. If you're writing Sam Reader, what do I have to write that I haven't written or I'm not comfortable with?
Well, I wouldn't want to do what you're not comfortable with, because I wouldn't say I wasn't uncomfortable with writing with this. I just never done it before, and I just wasn't sure if I could. So I wouldn't want to give you something where you felt uncomfortable about writing.
No, but what would you want me to write that I maybe haven't written before?
Probably a pairing you've never written before.
Like
Jody and Sam. The way you like to say,
he just likes to be dominated. He just needs to be dominated by this little tiny, little tiny baby women.
You seem to like that. You just
I
have to.
Like
you can write about it with Jody and Sam, so we could do that.
Put a pin in
not
it.
now.
Not right now. Not right now. We're fucking busy. Not right now, but soon. Maybe soon. We'll see.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we should. So yeah, we just wanted to get you guys all caught up in all the crazy
with
things
our,
we
with
keep
our
trying
bings and bangos. Bings and bangos.
Yeah, so you've got stuff to finish. At some point, I will finish ABCs of Julie and Dean, and
I'm so
hopefully I won't do anything else for a little while because life's busy. But we'll see. We'll see if I can get to it maybe within the next few months. Maybe I can finish it. Hopefully. But I guess we're gonna wrap up because I've got something else to do. Casey's going to hold my hand through it again, I think.
You can do this. I believe in you.
But we just want to say thank you for listening to us ramble about our stuff and let us know what you thought of the episode. You can email us at idlingintheimpala@gmail.com. You can comment on Spotify in the Q&A section, leave a YouTube comment, join our Discord, and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlingintheimpala.com. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi for as little as $1 a month. We have perks to go along with the different membership tiers and would love to have you along for the ride.
Speaking of perks, we've got special shout outs for some of our Ko-fi members. From Shotgun Picks and Music tier, we've got Crowley's Mistress, Runaway Dreamer, and Sam and Dean 76. From our own Mrs. Butters tier, we've got Charlie. Thanks for picking the tunes in the car and keeping the lights on in the bunker. Support like yours keeps our podcast going. Thank you. Don't forget, though, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes we support in the description. So you have LGBTQ plus talking charities from me, you have mental health charities from Sandra, and of course, the main causes that we are highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. If you want to know more about these causes, why we're supporting them, what they mean to us, check out idlingintheimpala.com. There's a page there called Causes Cause with all the details. So with that, we will say thank you for joining us in the back seat, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.